One of the most useful lessons I think I've learned is the power of inquiry to help you be persuasive. And I learned this in a rather difficult way at a class that I took. It was a communications class, and I remember the instructor had given us a short lecture about how powerful inquiry was and how it was much more effective at persuading people than straight advocacy was. And I thought this all made a lot of sense, and after the lecture she asked us to do an exercise, and in the exercise she paired us up, and she asked one person to be a seller and one person to be a buyer. And so I got paired up with a woman whose name was Ellen, and I went first as the seller, and I tried to sell Ellen my car. And I tried to think of all the things that would be attractive in a car. And so I told her things like it was a convertible. And she said that she wasn't really that impressed by that because she didn't like to spend a lot of time out in the sun. I told her that it had got great gas mileage. She told me that she walked to work and only drove on weekends and not very far. So everything that I could come up with, she wasn't very impressed with. And by the time the time was up, I had not made a sale. And then we switched places, and Ellen tried to sell me. And so Ellen, the first thing that she said was, "Do you like antiques?" And at that moment I thought, oh, that's right. This is all a course about inquiry, and I completely missed the point. So I thought, well, good for you, Ellen. Of course, it was lucky, I thought, that she had come up with something that actually I was interested in. And I said, yes, I liked antiques. And then she asked me another question. She said, what is it about antiques that you like? And so I shared that I like the fact that there's a story associated with an old object, you know, how it was used, who it belonged to, all those kinds of things I find interesting. So she said to me, well, I have an antique silver vase that belonged to my great aunt, and it has a wonderful story associated with it. Would you like to hear it? So at this point, I was completely hooked. I said, yes, I would like to hear it. And she told me it, and I ended up buying this from her. And it was an important lesson for me, first of all, because obviously when you inquire to understand about someone's interests and needs, you're much more able to be persuasive with them, whether you're trying to sell something or convince them of an argument. The other thing that it really impressed on me was how difficult it is to let go of advocacy, that when we have something we feel really strongly about, we tend to advocate, and it's often, especially when we're talking to somebody who has a different point of view, as I was talking with Ellen, it's very hard to make progress without really understanding the person, and that inquiry, not advocacy, is the way to do that.